Again, this has to do with questions that we have received about the application of the concealed carry law to both our office building and to polling places throughout Wisconsin. And I will just start at the outset. The memo mentions that we were going to consult with the Department of Justice. We have received some feedback, which slightly modifies our recommendations, but I think the bottom line recommendations will be the same as you see in the memo. And I think first, the easiest issue to address is our building here, and we have consulted both with the Department of Justice and the Department of Administration, which issued some guidance last fall, and have confirmed that the concealed carry law does permit us, does permit the agency, if we choose, to prohibit firearms within our premises. And it seems like sort of a basic conclusion, but we wanted to verify that the new concealed carry law does allow us that latitude. The Department of Administration put out guidance last November stating its policy preference that firearms under the new law be permitted within state agency buildings with some exceptions, but that guidance was intended for cabinet agencies, and they confirmed with the DOA council that it did not, first of all, it was a policy preference, and secondly, it did not apply to the Government Accountability Board.
Pleasure on this? I've been the one that's been pushing for this, and it comes from my own personal experience. Before I went on the court in Dane County at a courthouse, we had a coroner and the secretary that were killed by a person who brought a firearm into the courthouse. And while I was on the bench, we had another litigant who had a firearm removed in the hallway outside of my chamber. And so, of course, the courthouse, I always say, you know, half the people who come there leave unhappy. And I was worried, especially in the context of what's happened over the past couple of years in this agency, about the safety of not only ourselves, but especially our staff. We make decisions that make people unhappy. We try to do it fairly after listening and everything, but I just think we need a safe environment for those who come to do business and for those who have to live.
I have to look at it from exactly the opposite idea. Sure, I want a safe environment, but I also look on my personal experience. Maybe my youngest brother would still be alive if he'd been carrying a concealed weapon. Maybe my cousin would have been paralyzed if he'd been carrying a concealed weapon. Maybe one of my best friends who broke up a fight among other people would still be alive if he wasn't carrying a weapon, or if he had been allowed to carry a concealed weapon. So I understand what you're saying, but we're looking at it entirely different.
Well, I don't know whether you want to debate this. I've had limited experience. Like, I worked in Milwaukee County, and you know, there were gunshots fired outside, and I wondered whether the bullet was ever going to stop wandering around on the marble walls, and the shooting continued. And I understand where that argument comes from, but it doesn't make any sense. The people that come in are not worried about public safety. The people that carry firearms to try and protect themselves in a room like this are like the people that I see with machine guns when I go to Europe, wandering around in their airports. Are they really going to fire that thing in here? They're going to kill more people than you can dream if they try and protect themselves with firearms in a room like this. You know, you know as well as I do, because you've been to Reno. They always taught us, you bring firearms into a room, somebody's going to get shot. Just that simple.
My fear is not the person who's gone through the training and the background check and got the permit. Mine is the thug, the criminal, the convicted felon, who's not going to care what the rules are, and
That's
are
right.
going to carry no matter what. I think it's a matter of kind of evening the odds myself.
I just don't want them or anybody else bringing firearms into this area. I agree.
All right, again, this is on our agenda today as a report, and it's, I think, good to air some of these concerns, but I have not heard a motion one way or the other, and I don't know if we want to take that up today, or if we want a staff recommendation before we act. What's the board's pleasure?
I'd like to have a staff recommendation and take it up at the next meeting.
All right, that seemed to be a consensus. All right, then we will ask staff for a recommendation on what the GAB policy should be with respect to our spaces.